The New York Times over the weekend profiled Musk's fraught relationship with his colorful father, Errol Musk. And by colorful, I mean white. Errol Musk, Elon's dad, accuses Elon of being a bad father. Apparently, Elon learned from the master. Errol Musk says nannies are raising Elon's children. Like that's a bad thing? Better they should be raised by Elon, Errol? I don't think so. Let the nannies do all the interaction with the children. Errol Musk, who supports Trump, divorced Musk's mother when Elon was only 8. Mae Musk, Elon's mother, at the time accused Errol of abusing her. All of this under the miasma of apartheid in South Africa. The poison outside the home as well as inside. This is who Elon Musk is. The Times quotes Elon as describing his father as, quote, gone crazy. Musk has been quoted in the past describing his childhood as unhappy. Hard to believe that such an abusive individual like Elon Musk had an abusive father. Odd. That rarely happens. You know, if I were Donald Trump, I'd watch myself. Judging by Elon Musk's dependency on in vitro fertilization, the guy loves surrogates. And Trump is starting to look like Musk's surrogate father. It doesn't take a Freudian psychiatrist to see where this is heading. Just ask Laius, the king of Thebes, and father to Oedipus. This is not going to end well for Trump or Musk. Speaking about his father, Elon once said, quote, it was like misery. He's good at making life miserable. That's for sure. He learned from the best, apparently. The New York Times reporting Musk told Rolling Stone magazine, quote, about his father, he was such a terrible human being. My dad will have a careful, thought-out plan of evil. He will plan evil, unquote. Did he ever justify one of his evil plans by calling it government efficiency? According to the New York Times, Elon tearfully told a reporter from Rolling Stone magazine, quote, almost every crime you can possibly think of, my father has done. Almost every evil thing you could possibly think of, he has done, unquote. Wow. Almost every evil thing you could think of, my father has done. Shocking Elon would make such sweeping accusations against his father that couldn't possibly be true. It's just shocking because Elon's Twitter feed is always the picture of decorum. The Times writes Errol Musk in 2018, I shouldn't be laughing at this, but these are the people who are flushing our country. These are the people who are flushing our country. The Times writes, Errol Musk in 2018 fathered the first of two children with a stepdaughter 42 years his junior. Let me repeat this. The New York Times writes that Elon Musk's father, Errol, in 2018 fathered the first of two children with a stepdaughter 42 years his junior. There is nothing right in that sentence. Fathering a stepdaughter 42 years his junior. That's the type of family values Republicans are all about. These people are so depraved, I'm guessing during sex, Errol kept whispering, who's your stepdaddy? Who's your stepdaddy? This is who is flushing our country, and it's not normal behavior. But the dad insists fathering two children with his stepdaughter is not the reason Elon stopped talking to him. He says it has nothing to do with impregnating a stepdaughter twice. Errol Musk insists it's because Elon was a Clinton Democrat and I was a Republican. That's why he stopped talking to me. This is how people use politics to mask their depravity. They hide behind politics. Yeah, I'm really going to stop talking to my father because I'm voting for Hillary and he's not. It has nothing to do with my father being an abusive degenerate who fathered 2 kids with his stepdaughter and abused my mother. No, it's because he didn't vote for Hillary when I was a Hillary supporter. This is what the entire Republican Party has become. Victims of trauma, unresolved trauma, victims of abuse from their parents. These are all abused children who grew up, and the only way people like Elon Musk or Donald Trump can feel any affinity towards their abusive fathers is by abusing others. When a victim of child abuse becomes an abusive adult, it's their way of making peace with the past. It's a way of communing with the father who never really loved them. By being abusive yourself towards others, you think, how bad could my father have possibly been if I'm now doing the same thing? I guess he loved me after all. To feel loved, these men have to abuse others. And we gave them the keys to our kingdom. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with this country that we would give the sickest people the steering wheel? Well, the cycle of abuse continues. Elon Musk, over the weekend, ordered every single worker in our federal government to explain yourself or you're fired. It was an actual email that went out to the 2.5 million federal employees. Abuse. This is abuse. This is daddy coming home drunk and taking the belt off. Musk sent out a mass email demanding every single federal employee make a list of their accomplishments for the week. Daddy's going over your report card. Musk later defended the email, calling it, quote, a very basic pulse check. Elon, you don't know what a pulse is because you didn't know that people have hearts. And while Elon's ruining the weekend for millions of people who work for our government, he takes to Twitter, rejoicing in reports he's hearing that his email has, quote unquote, terrorized our nation's federal employees. He's rejoicing in the fact that his email over the weekend has, quote unquote, terrorized our civil service. This is sociopathic behavior. Elon Musk is the boss who waits until Christmas Eve to fire somebody. People do that when their plumbing doesn't work and they require in vitro fertilization and 12 kids to make it look like you're fecund. This is what you do when a man's plumbing doesn't work. I had a boss whose plumbing doesn't work, and he occasionally threatened to fire everyone on Christmas Eve. And I was told by his lieutenant, he likes firing people. Like, not critically. That wasn't a criticism of my boss. It's just, he feels it's good to fire people because his plumbing doesn't work. Musk accused federal workers of massive fraud over the weekend. Musk said dead people are on the federal payroll, but he offered no proof. He had said the same thing last week about Social Security, that dead people were collecting Social Security, even though Social Security's Inspector General and the head of Social Security, who was appointed just now by Donald Trump, they reported, no, not true. No dead people are getting their checks. But that doesn't stop the owner of Twitter to disseminate more lies. He's like Trump, and all he does now is lie. The Office of Personnel Management had no choice but to follow up Musk's mass email with another mass email demanding employees actually list their accomplishments for the week. Everett B. Kelly, the president of the American Federation of Government Employees, called Musk's email unhinged, you think, and unlawful. Well, of course it's unlawful. We don't even know if he's working for the Department of Government Efficiency. Trump says he's not an employee of the Department of Government Efficiency. The New York Times reporting the FBI, State Department, and intelligence agencies were told, the employees of the intelligence agencies were told, ignore Elon Musk. Insubordination. New York Times reporting Tulsi Gabbard, director of national intelligence, ordered every intelligence agency to ignore Musk's email, fearing that classified material would be leaked through that email. Dear Elon, this is how it would go. I had a very productive week here at the CIA. I turned a Russian spy into a double agent. His name is Donald Trump. I think Tulsi Gabbard should be fired. Insubordination. FBI chief Kash Patel told his agents, quote, for now, please pause any responses to Elon's email. Insubordination. Fire Kash Patel. Pentagon employees were also told to ignore Musk's email. Insubordination. You do not disobey an order from the richest man in the world. Meanwhile, Trump sacked our black chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Trump accused General Charles Q. Brown Jr. of being too woke. Yeah, more like too not white. Pete Hegseth, our alcoholic white defense secretary, accused General Brown of being the beneficiary of DEI. Hegseth said of General Brown, we'll never know if General Brown got where he is because he's qualified or because of his race, as opposed to Pete Hegseth, who we know got to where he is because of his race. Do you for one second think Pete Hegseth would be defense chief if he were anything but a white male? Could you imagine a person of color with Pete Hegseth's history of assaulting women? His own mother put that into writing, calling him abusive. His history of alcohol abuse, rape allegations, non-disclosure agreements about rape allegations, and nearly bankrupting 2 nonprofits. Could you imagine a person of color with that track record being asked to serve as Secretary of Defense? Any one of those strikes would have automatically disqualified a person of color. But Hegseth sailed through because of his race. It certainly wasn't the content of your character, Pete Hegseth. I love it when racists like Pete Hegseth appropriate Dr. King and pervert his dream of wanting to see people, judge people by the basis of the content of their character. Like anybody gave you a promotion based on the content of your character, Pete Hegseth, there isn't an electronic microscope strong enough to detect your character, Pete Hegseth, you white nationalist prick. General Brown, who was then Chief of Staff of the U.S. Air Force, this was back in 2020, before he became Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. General Brown was Chief of Staff of the U.S. Air Force, and he recorded a video in 2020 after the killing of George Floyd. In that video, General Brown recalled the difficulties he faced as a black man rising in the military. It was a way of telling people of color, telling women, members of the LGBTQ community, I see you. I am you. You see, that's how you win and prevent wars. Diversity is our strength. Well, Trump has declared war on diversity. He replaced General Brown with General Kane, Let me just check. White man. White man. General Cain also runs several businesses. Trump praised General Cain's entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, who doesn't want our military run by an entrepreneur? In firing General Brown, Trump said the Pentagon needs warriors, yes, and entrepreneurs like Donald Trump, who danced to the Village Peoples in the Navy. What a warrior Donald Trump is, right? Here he is storming Lafayette Park in 2020 for a photo op at a church. So brave to lead his troops into battle. Donald Trump, the Battle of Lafayette Park. And, you know, if I had video of this, you could see the limp Trump still has from Vietnam, those bone spurs he got during the Vietnam War. Where's his Purple Heart? During the Vietnam War, Donald Trump got bone spurs. He should get a Purple Heart. He was injured during the Vietnam War. Bone spurs. No Purple Heart.